So yesterday we all received the heart-shattering news that we'd lost Ricky Hatton, an absolute legend in not just the British boxing scene, but boxing scene altogether. The man was universally loved. He was one of a kind. I genuinely believe that we'll never see a fighter on these shores again have that kind of love and the reception. The crowds he brought to Vegas and all the nights that followed those were just truly special, and he meant so much to so many people, inspired a whole generation of fighters and really paved the way for the fighters you'll see and love today. We will forever be indebted to him. But I do feel it's important to celebrate those iconic nights. I did do a short yesterday with a few knockouts and highlights of the great man's career, but I felt compelled to do one long video just to kind of really emphasize this man and celebrate one night in particular when he beat Kostya Tszyu, a real historic win, which for me always gets overlooked. Kostya Tszyu was an absolute animal, and although he wasn't at his prime and his peak of his powers, he was still a very, very capable fighter. And that magical night on the 4th of June 2005, Ricky Hatton shocked the world when he took on Kostya Tszyu and become IBF and RING Super-Lightweight champion of the world. It wasn't the prettiest of fights, but Ricky done what he had to do, showed great IQ, tied Tszyu up and tied him out, and got to him at the end. As I say, people just don't really give enough love and appreciation to what a massive, massive win that was for Ricky at the time. I mean, Kostya Tszyu was a pound-for-pound fighter going into this fight. He'd held the IBF title for 10 years, and he was the first unified super lightweight champion in 30 years. Like, this is the kind of guy that Ricky had to fight that night. He was a monster, he was a machine, all those words. Tszyu was the man, effectively, holding wins over the legend Julio Cesar Chavez, also good wins against Miguel Angel Gonzalez and also Zab Judah, who were good fighters and world champions. So he was by far the favourite heading into the fight. Ricky held a minor belt in the form of the WBU, and he'd beaten guys like John Thaxton, Eamon McGee. He'd also beaten Michael Stewart and Ray Oliveira. So good fighters at a decent level, but nothing compared to Kostya Tszyu. It was a magnificent jump in class, and a lot of people, in fact, the vast majority of people just assumed that it would be Tszyu's night, and Ricky just didn't have the style to mesh well against someone like Tszyu, who was just a pressure fighter, a big puncher, and once he was in his rhythm, just took people apart. And a lot of people just thought that this just was not stylistically a good night for Hatton, so he was a massive underdog coming into it. Even the British media just didn't fancy his chances at all, but on that glorious night, he just wasn't going to be denied. You often hear people say, you know, on that night, no one was going to beat him, nothing was going to get through him, etc., etc. But this just was one of those nights. Ricky's star power was really sort of kicking in now, and at the MEN Arena, in his backyard, it just truly was one of those special nights where Ricky Hatton would etch his name in sports history, be an unbelievable fighter, and really put his name into history. The fight itself, Ricky come in like an absolute monster, just running straight to Tszyu, taking it to him. Tszyu was renowned for being a bit of a slow starter. As I said, once he got in his rhythm, that's where he was really methodical and hard to beat and hard to get out of that rhythm. So Billy Graham had simply given Ricky the advice to just jump on him, sit on his chest, don't allow him to get in that rhythm, make him feel his age, because he was on the slide slightly. I think that's a bit harsh, because he still had some good wins and still some good momentum going into the fight, and he was only 35, so he wasn't an old man, but he was certainly towards the end of his career, and Ricky knew he had to just make him feel that age, and he certainly did. He come flying out the traps. First couple of rounds, won them pretty easily with constant pressure, a little bit of wrestling and dirty tactics, but again, he'd done what he had to do. He understood the game plan and he implemented it brilliantly. Tszyu naturally did grow a little bit as the rounds went on, showed his experience, shows his IQ, and allowed himself to just get back into to his rhythm. But Ricky wouldn't be denied. Even in the rounds that he was losing, he still showed that immense heart, determination and spirit, just constantly landing shots, constantly just being in front of him, being aggressive, doing what he had to do, would be just undeterred and just would not be denied on that night. And Tszyu really just kind of looked a little bit lost in the middle rounds. He had a few good rounds, but he just seemed to tire and he seemed to get frustrated, and Ricky knew that, and being the fighter he was, just jumped on him and just would not stop. Relentless pressure. Tszyu showed great counter punching, but Ricky was wise to it, and he had to really take the shots and just keep coming on forward. As I say, he was just sitting on his chest and showing his trademark body punches to really make it a grueling, horrible fight. Both fighters also landed illegal blows. In the 9th round, Tszyu was up first, landing an illegal shot, and Ricky landed a beautiful left hook right in the balls to Tszyu in retaliation, to kind of let him know he was there and to show that he wasn't scared nor would he be bullied. And then going into the end of that round, sitting on his stool with Billy Graham, he looked a little bit frustrated and demoralised, Ricky, very tired, a huge gulf in class to what he was used to. And he sat down and he said something along the lines to Billy Graham of, "I've got nothing left, I'm absolutely shattered here." But Billy Graham, knowing he had to pick his man up, give him a bit of a harsh slap around the face and a pep talk, and said, "If you can't get through this, we knew this would happen, if you can't get through it, then you're not the man we thought you were." He knew exactly what to say to Ricky and when to say it, and that just worked like a treat. Ricky sat straight back up and flew out there and went after Tszyu, knowing that, yeah, he was tired, but so was Tszyu. Tszyu was the older man. Let's go out there, finish this job, and make the old man work. And he did that again. Terrific body punching, just constant pressure like a fly on shit, pushing him into the corner and giving him absolutely everything. Again, highlighting the heart that Hatton had, and he just would not be denied on that night. He also showed great IQ, as I said, just tying Tszyu up, throwing him in the corner, wrestling him when he needed to. But again, just constant pressure, making Tszyu work, and it did. Eventually, at the end of the 11th round, Tszyu sat down, his corner threw in the towel. They didn't want him to take any more punishment. Tszyu didn't really fancy it anymore either, and Ricky Hatton finally climbed Mount Everest, an unbelievable win in front of his hometown crowd, and cemented his place in legacy. Ricky was just genuinely a special fighter, and I do honestly believe that that win over Kostya Tszyu very rarely gets mentioned. Disrespectfully, people always point out the Pacquiao defeat or the Mayweather defeat, but Ricky Hatton was an unbelievable fighter who had the power to unify the whole country, the whole nation. As I say, he was also universally loved. I mean, even Man United fans absolutely adored Ricky, and that may be lost on some people, but those who know will know how special that is, that he just was loved by everyone. No one had a bad word to say about him. He just was the man. He's inspired so many people to take up boxing. A lot of people come out yesterday and said that he was the inspiration, whether that be boxers, fans, anyone involved in the sport. They've all got a great story to tell about watching Ricky Hatton, meeting Ricky Hatton. He just really was the man that was adored by everyone. He really, truly will be forever and sorely missed. And he will always be a British and boxing legend.